contrary to what you may have heard, things are not better down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
Released in 1989, The Little Mermaid marks the beginning of what's regarded as being the Disney Renaissance, kick-starting a string of huge successes for Disney animated movies. While I don't mean to, swim against the current, it's never been a favourite of mine, but I can understand why it's held in high regard.
Have you ever seen anything so wonderful in your entire life? Wow, cool!
The music especially is fantastic, and Ursula remains one of the best Disney villains of all time.
That's right.
Largely due to the late Pat Carroll's performance.
Body language.
Unsurprisingly, the straight-to-video television animation sequel fails to achieve the same standard.
Oh no.
It's not the worst of the Disney sequels in my opinion, but it is a lazy follow-up, basically conveying the exact same plot but in reverse, with Ariel's daughter Melody becoming a mermaid at the hands of, quote, Ursula's crazy sister Morgana, who is basically Ursula's emaciated clone.
Stop criticizing me!
As would be expected, this film contains some typically annoying and unfunny Disney sidekicks, Tip and Dash.
Cowards/losers.
And don't get me started on what they did to Flounder,
Ariel?
who's grown into some kind of fat, nasally, middle-aged manfish.
The name's Flounder.
The horrors!
The plot doesn't shy away from being a blatant rip-off of the first installment, and as such, it's so boring. I was more invested in King Triton's oversized nipples. Seriously, I swear they get bigger throughout the movie. Oh, and speaking of animation inconsistencies, there's also this scene in which Ariel's neck extends to near giraffe length. Okay, that was an exaggeration, but this sure as hell ain't normal. And the game is even worse. I won't sugarcoat it, this is a contender for the worst Disney game I've ever played.
It's a monster! Stay away from it!
And yes, I'm including Dinosaur for PS1 and Peter Pan for PS2.
You know, the Peter Pan game in which he can't fly. Yes, that monstrosity of a game is far better than what you're about to see.
In fact, now that I mentioned Dinosaur, this is actually pretty interesting, as it was released the same year as this game, and they both contain Max Casella as a voice actor, who would later go on to lend his vocals to the loquacious critter Daxter in the Jak and Daxter franchise. Yeah, it seems this guy is always typecast as the annoying sidekick, and boy is this penguin annoying.
To the max!
On to Atlantica!
To my surprise, this game covers the events of both movies, much like the Lion King PS1 game, which is also terrible. Firstly, I appreciate the design of the main menu, with Scuttle as your guide. The various objects represent different categories. For example, the Snarfblatt takes you to the options menu, while the telescope lets you view the movie clips you've unlocked. And yes, for some reason, this includes the Blitz Games logo. I bet kids were thrilled to be able to watch that by choice.
Positively riveting!
The menu is a neat idea. I just wish Scuttle moved a bit quicker. Really, this is one of the slowest menus I've ever come across.
Wow. Scuttle is rather ironically named, it seems. Anyway, let's crack on.
First of all, the introductory movie clip is totally pointless. It shows about 4 seconds of the movie before it abruptly cuts to a loading screen. Seriously, what was the point? I do like that Sebastian represents a progress bar, although he looks about as enthused as I was when I first played this. Alright man, let's get this shit over with. I also assumed that once he reached the other side of the screen, it would be done loading the level, but then he started walking back, and after seeing the game for myself, I can't say I blame him. Oh no man, you won't make me go in there. Anyway, the game opens in Atlantica, in which King Triton is having trouble with his TV reception.
Flounder, have you seen my Ariel?
Oh no, of course not. He means his daughter, the titular Little Mermaid.
Ariel, Ariel!
Flounder calls for Ariel and informs her that her dad wants to see her.
Flounder and I are off on an adventure.
You're just gonna talk to your dad? I think adventure is a bit of an overstatement, but okay.
Sebastian then explains the collectibles.
Collect the coins for the fun. Collect the beautiful pearls for the secrets.
In each level, there are 50 coins and 5 pearls. Pearls are collected to unlock optional bonus games, which I'll discuss as I get to them. And yes, they're also terrible. So basically, if you're good at this awful game, you're rewarded with more awful levels.
I'm pretty sure this isn't a reward. This is a punishment.
4 of the pearls are hidden in a level somewhere, but the last one is given as a reward for collecting all 50 coins. Anyway, here we meet this miserable bitch,
Oh, it's you, Ariel.
who won't let you any further unless you retrieve her comb. And when I say she won't let you further, I mean that literally. She purposely blocks your way if you try to swim around her. Excuse me, could I just go around? No, fine.
How frightfully rude!
In the throne room, King Triton requests that you find something for him too.
I've lost my gold ring. Would you find it for me?
Here we're taught about Ariel's attack move, the tail swing, which you can activate with the X button to dislodge the ring from the horn. Ariel can also perform a couple of other attack moves. By pressing X while moving, she'll rapidly spin like a power drill. There's also the triangle button shock move, which seems to stun enemies or eliminate them entirely. Sometimes I've found that the enemy's lifeless corpse will just float there until you use your tail to kick it away. Which seems a bit morbid, but alright. Ariel can only carry one object at once, but as soon as you've returned the comb to Alana, she gives you the key to the chest in the throne room, which contains Ariel's bag.
Now I can collect all kinds of neat stuff for my treasure trove.
Once you've got this, you can pick up more than one item at a time. Yippee!
Considering the fact that everybody seems to be losing things in this game, this seems like a good investment.
In case you hadn't noticed, this is essentially Picking Things Up, the video game. We then progress to the shipwreck graveyard, in which we need to...
I wonder what this is.
That's right, pick some things up.
Positively riveting.
Now, I just want to talk about the controls. Before I played this, I imagined Ariel would control like Peter Pan in Adventures in Neverland. Say what you want about that game, but the flight controls are perfectly fine. You hold X to go higher, and letting go will make Peter drift downwards. Simple, right? Since swimming is basically like flying but underwater, I figured this would be quite similar, but it's actually much more basic. You simply need to use the directional buttons to move around, and you can hold the circle button to swim faster. That's it. No, really. Obviously, despite being in the ocean, you're restricted to swimming in a contained area, and a lot of the time, there isn't any attempt to disguise the surrounding invisible walls. For a game like Finding Nemo in which you're in a fish tank, this makes sense. But here, there's literally no reason why you shouldn't be able to swim out of bounds. You can be swimming in a certain direction and Ariel will just stop. Oh. Alright, guess I'm not swimming over there then. Are we actually in an aquarium and just don't realise it?
Hey, it seems like Ariel was right. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far.
Now and again, you'll find secret openings that you can swim through to access hidden areas.
Collect the starfish for your health.
Most often, these are fairly obvious, but it's not always clear what areas are accessible. Take this area for example. There's clearly a gaping hole in the floor, but this appears to be for aesthetic and nothing else. Seriously, this is just part of the background. There is literally no reason for this hole to be here. Ariel will not enter the hole, not even if you try to burrow.
I don't like this.
Once we've found all the human items, we find ourselves in danger with a shark on our tail.
Yeah, no, I mean he's literally on your tail. I'm pretty sure you should be fish supper by now. Anyone else hungry?
You big bully.
Crikey! Ariel won that by a neck.
Granted, she has an unfair advantage.
It was around this point I noted that pressing the square button lets you speak to Flounder, although all this seems to do is make him repeat the last piece of dialogue he said, which in this context makes absolutely no sense.
You big bully.
What the? Alright, Flounder. I only wanted to talk. So rude.
We then reach the burning ship, the idea being to locate the drowning Prince Eric before time runs out. And being timed, it seems an odd level to look for hidden areas, but this game actively encourages it. The secrets aren't exactly hard to find, but it's easy to run out of time when you're wasting it looking for loose change.
I found a penny!
A man is drowning. You don't think this can wait?
Since Ariel swims so slowly, it's obvious we're going to run out of time. Might as well wait and see what happens.
My eyes have been soiled. I regret everything.
Alright, so let's go find Eric, shall we?
There he is, Ariel.
What? Where? I don't... Oh. Is he dead? Oops.
Oh well, never mind, Ariel. You know what they say, plenty more fish in the sea.
Oh no, of course not. He's alive, and with slightly more personality than I had in a movie. Oh, I joke, but really, this guy has literally no character apart from the fact that he becomes weirdly obsessed with a girl's voice.
She had most beautiful voice.
It's kind of ironic that a guy who winds up with a girl from the depths of the sea could be so shallow.
Anyway, by this point I had enough pearls to unlock the first bonus game, Sebastian's Orchestra.
Can you help me teach them?
As you might expect, this is a rhythm game. You know, one of those press the right buttons at the right time games. And I say rhythm game, but this has to be the most arrhythmic rhythm game I've ever played. Seriously, I never thought I'd yearn to be playing the Atlantica world of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Swing this way, we'll dance and we'll play. Now it's very easy, come on and just take a chance and shake a feeling.
But this is far, far worse. You don't even play to the tune. You're literally just making noise over a backing track.
Jumping jellyfish! That was good!
What? Oh, you cannot be serious. You must be deaf as a haddock.
Or hard of, herring. Maybe music isn't your forte after all, Sebastian. I think this orchestra needs more than a little fine-tuning.
This bonus game gets slightly more challenging as it goes on. You switch between the various instruments and apparently make them all sound as horrendous as possible. Ugh, this octopus is looking how I'm feeling. Seriously, if I got just one note wrong, how would anybody tell? At the end, you need to play all of the instruments one after the other. And once it's done, there's no reward or anything. Besides the fact that it's over, of course.
Oh, thank God! That's music to my ears!
Anyway, we then progress to Journey to Ursula, in which we need to follow Flotsam and Jetsam the eels to meet Ursula the Sea Witch. I say follow, although you actually have to repeatedly veer off course to pick up 3 bottles of potions. They never explain why you need to do this, you just do.
Ariel, collect the 3 potion bottles.
Okay, but why? Am I concocting my own potion? Why do I need to see Ursula if I can do it myself?
Before long, we make it to Ursula's Garden of Lost Souls.
In an octopus's garden, in the shade.
But as we enter her lair, the game then cuts a huge chunk out of the movie as we jump to the final boss. That is, the final boss of the first movie, not the entire game. No, I'm afraid we're nowhere near the end of the game just yet. Why are you crying?
Pull yourself together!
One thing I also found rather strange and, well, lazy, was the fact that the movie clips don't always correlate with what's happening in the game. Once we get to this level, the movie clip clearly depicts Ariel as a human with Eric, and Ursula transforming into her human form.
I gotta say, Jodie Benson pulls off one hell of an evil laugh. Not her best, though.
But the level that follows sees Ariel as a mermaid battling Ursula in her octopus form. It's really weird. What was the point in showing us this scene when you're not going to do anything with it?
Wait, let me get this straight. This game has completely omitted the parts in which Ariel transforms into a human and gets to know Eric. That's basically the whole movie.
Anyway, this boss fight is possibly the worst boss fight I've ever seen, or at least one of the worst. You're trapped by a cascade of potion bottles, and simply need to swing your tail at the red bottles to defeat Ursula. It's mind-numbingly simple and makes no sense at all. Why are the potions falling? Why do only the red ones hurt Ursula? Why does she even have these potions that can kill her? And why does Sebastian know this?
Use your tail on the red bottles to defeat Ursula.
There's no change at all throughout the fight. It's ridiculously slow and so lazy. And when Ursula dies, I'm not really sure what's happening. It's like she has some kind of massive seizure or something. Anyway, with Ursula sleeping with the fishes, King Triton is freed from captivity, meaning he can once again free the enormous nipple. Oh yes, daddy. And without any build-up whatsoever, the second movie starts. Ariel is now a human.
A minor detail they forgot to mention there.
But her daughter, Melody, wants to explore the sea. I love that their most innovative idea for this terrible sequel was to basically just do the exact same story but in reverse. I mean, Melody doesn't fall in love with a fish or anything. Middle-aged flounder ain't no looker, so can't say I blame her there. But she yearns for the sea, and later in the movie, she becomes a mermaid herself. And frankly, the sooner the better, because if you thought controlling Ariel was bad, Melody is even worse, as you need to constantly return to the surface for air. Here we need to collect seashells. I'm assuming they're shells that have been abandoned already, and we're not stealing some poor critters' homes.
That would be shellfish. I'm sorry.
Eventually, a dolphin appears, carrying something? Honestly, until I saw the next movie clip, I had no idea what the hell this thing was supposed to be. As it turns out, it's Melody's lost pendant. Of course it is. And the dolphin drops it, causing it to float very slowly down to the seabed. And this is actually ridiculous, as Melody is unable to retrieve it until it hits the floor. Honey, it's literally right there. Just grab the thing. After this, I unlocked another bonus game.
Oh, hooray! I can't wait!
This one sees you choose between characters Dash, Tip and Flounder, and Morgana's lackey Undertow, and try to be the last one standing as you all roll around and try to push each other off the ice platform. It's pretty much the same as the Ratatouille minigame on The Onion, only with 4 characters instead of just 2, so it can be a bit chaotic. Initially, I found it ridiculously easy to win. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have an unfair advantage as I'm the only one with feet, but I swear sometimes the AI overpowers one of the characters, and you simply can't fight back. Undertow here was ridiculous. Speaking of Undertow, it was at this point that I realised his voice by Clancy Brown.
You mean to tell me he wasn't Mr. Krabs in Battle for Bikini Bottom, but he was willing to take part in this piece of carp?
Can we get with the program? It's still a small world down here!
What follows is one of only 2 levels that take place on land.
I have to sneak out of the castle. Sebastian? Sebastian!
I don't agree with this young lady, but I promise to help.
So, you don't agree with what I'm doing, but you're going to help me do it. Right, okay, that makes perfect sense. You're a very morally ambiguous crab, aren't you? Oh, hi, Melody!
Hello! Somehow this is even worse than the underwater levels. It's very rare that that's the case. Melody moves so slowly. You can run, but there's hardly much point when these crabs are constantly in your way.
Hey, Sebastian, if you want to help, do you think you could tell your friends to bugger off? And make it snappy!
At the very beginning of the level, you pick up a slice of cake from a random windowsill, with absolutely no explanation as to why. Eventually it turns out we need it to feed a hungry crab so we can get past him.
Feed me! I'm so hungry!
I suppose you could call it a crab cake. Ah! Well, at least someone found it funny. Anyway, I think it would have made more sense for the cake to appear after having met the crab. Until you meet him, you're basically carrying a slice of cake for absolutely no reason. The fact that you're already likely to have the cake by the time you meet him also makes the task even easier than it already is.
You could say it's a piece of cake.
Okay.
The crab then drops this blue thing. I don't know what it is, but as soon as you collect it, the other crabs try to steal it from you. So I guess it's important? Anyway, once we've found the ore, we can return to the boat we passed earlier and set sail.
Oh, welcome, my precious.
Melody then meets Morgana, who temporarily changes her into a mermaid. She says that she could make it last longer if she had her magic trident, which Melody naively agrees to retrieve.
Find the whale, Melody. He'll help you.
In this level, we encounter a whale, although oddly, despite being told that he'll help us, he, just kind of floats there?
Do you know the way to Atlantica?
This here's Tip, and I'm Dash.
Yeah, okay, buddy, I didn't ask for your life story.
Weirdly, the pair don't answer Melody's question at all, and instead ask you to retrieve the ice sword.
We've lost the ice sword.
Would you find it for us, please? Hey, let's find the ice sword.
Yes, thank you, Flounder, that's exactly what I was intending to do. Why are you even here? Stop following me, piss off. It's not long before we find the ice sword. It really wasn't far. Did they even try looking?
We'll be friends forever. Come on, let's go exploring.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you go, Melody. Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Tip and Dash then give you the ice map to Atlantica. And further in the level, we also find some pepper?
What?
The pepper! Maybe you could use it on the monster!
The pepper is used to make the whale sneeze. Although this is really confusing because, as you can see in the movie clip, the sneeze causes Melody's ice map to shatter, prompting her to once again ask Tip and Dash for directions.
Do either of you know how to get to Atlantica?
So, the previous level was totally pointless then. What did we actually achieve there? We obtained a map and destroyed it. That's literally all that happened. I guess we got our friends the ice sword, but that also doesn't really have a point.
Well, it does have a point, it's a sword. But you catch my drift.
What follows is quite possibly the worst stealth level I've ever encountered. And I know I've said that so often that it's lost all meaning, but I mean this genuinely. Guards in these old games often have questionable AI and often can't see much further than their noses.
Nothing going on here.
But this game is on a whole other level. We need to avoid the, mer guards to get to the palace, and we can do this by simply swimming past them while their backs are turned, which is easier than you'd expect as they can only turn 2 directions, forwards and backwards. Yes, really, it's just that lazy. I love how these guys never once turn to look in my direction. Like, am I not even in their peripheral vision? I guess it's fortunate that all the guards here have tunnel vision and an inability to turn their necks to the right.
Your necks are pathetic. This is what a real neck looks like.
We then require help from Tip and Dash to get into the throne room.
Can you help me get back to Atlantica?
Yes, let's ask the Chatterbox Penguin and the enormous walrus for help being sneaky. Can't see a flaw in that plan at all.
Ooh, I don't know. There are some nasty barracudas around here.
Oh, pay no attention to him. Of course we'll help you, Melody.
I love how amiable Dash the Walrus looks here. He looks so happy and helpful. But then his dialogue icon is actually horrifying. It looks like he's having war flashbacks. Did they not have a better picture? As we enter the palace, Melody bags herself a bowl of salad. I mean, alright then.
Feeling peckish, hun?
The mer guard then apprehends us as we enter the throne room.
Halt! No one may enter the throne room.
So we have no choice but to give the salad to Tip and Dash?
I know you're a literal walrus, but I thought this could help you with losing some pounds. I mean it in a nice way, as a friend.
No, of course not. The salad is for,
I actually don't know.
Really, I don't have a bloody clue what the hell the salad has to do with anything, as it's never used. Tip and Dash just decide to hide under the table. When we join them, we can then use the table to, sneak into the throne room.
Do you think they'll notice?
Really, I didn't think anything could top Jasmine hiding herself in a massive pot, but this is something else. And guess what? It works!
There is a disturbance in the palace.
Do you think they've found Melody?
Nobody suspected the walking table? Nobody?
With security as bad as this, it's a wonder nobody else has turned the tables on Triton.
Look, there it is!
A fork? We're risking our tails for a fork?
At this point, we unlock the last bonus game, the bubble game, and this one quite literally blows.
Aww, they saved the worst till last. How thoughtful!
Here you need to stop the objects falling to the floor.
Watch out!
You can do this by tapping the X button to blow the horn.
Oh yeah!
Trust me, this horn is gonna brass you off.
In order to keep the items afloat, however, you need to hold the circle button to make a green bubble that acts as a temporary platform. The idea is to blow the items sitting on bubbles to the very top of the screen. Thrilling stuff. If you manage to do it, Sebastian then tries to gaslight you into thinking it was a good game.
Yeah, man! That was real good.
Lies!
I'll be honest with you, this was the only bonus game I couldn't be bothered to finish.
I actually don't have an excuse other than it's fucking awful. I hope you understand.
Obviously, with Melody missing, Ariel sticks her neck out to save her daughter. Good thing she's used to doing that. She's also now a mermaid again, apparently, and the objective here is to follow Morgana's manta rays to find Melody. Oh, but despite the urgency of the situation, we still have time to collect some loose change.
Mama Mermaid really has her priorities in order.
And I really must ask, what's the point in collecting the remaining coins and pearls when there's nothing else to unlock? I mean, when you do complete a level 100%, one of the items from that level is unlocked on the level select. Like, for example, the ore and the pepper shaker. But, like, so? What's the point? This doesn't achieve anything. I don't care. Shortly after this, Morgana imprisons Melody behind a wall of ice, and we need to rescue her. While swimming around, we find this... thing?
What the fuck is that?
No, really, I don't know what this is. This also happens to be the item unlocked in a level select later, and... yep. Still no idea.
Is it a who's it? A what's it? A thingamabob? No bloody clue.
On close inspection, it kinda looks like a portrait of Ursula, although the item in the level select looks completely different. Even so, there's never any reason given for collecting it. So I don't know what it's for, but in all honesty, I don't really care. Anyway, in this level, we need the help of... these two again.
Never fear, fair maiden. We'll help you.
Who agree to help save Melody by becoming shark bait. Sadly, they survive, and manage to lure Undertow into the ice wall. Now, this actually annoyed me a little. Naturally, I was going for 100% completion, so I wanted to find all the coins before exiting the level. Usually the ending to a level is signified by a ring of starfish, but for some reason here, they decided not to have a ring, so as soon as I reached Melody, the level abruptly ended before I was ready to leave. Since it's really easy to find everything, it wasn't too irritating, but it did mean I had to play the level again.
And frankly, once was more than enough.
The final boss sees you play as Melody, with feet. First you need to climb the ice tower, and then you need to defeat Morgana. The idea is to lure her into destroying the ice columns and then throw pieces of ice at her. Really, that is it. It's honestly pathetic. It's better than the Ursula fight, I guess, but it's extremely slow and far too easy. Morgana takes ages to turn around, so she's really easy to avoid. I'll be with you in a second, just bear with me. That is, except when Melody stops to collect some ice. Oh, come on, really? What, was she too quick for you or something? It's clunky, slow, and just plain horrible. It was a relief when it ended, and there's no additional reward for 100% completion, meaning once you've collected enough pearls to unlock all the bonus games, there is absolutely no point in continuing to collect things.
Okay, I think I speak for all of us when I say I think that's enough. I don't want to be part of this world anymore.
Jumping jellyfish, that was good.
This game is dreadful. It's bland, forgettable, and extremely lazy. I am aware licensed games have a bit of a reputation. Often they're a little rushed to coincide with a movie's release, so I never expect them to be perfect. But this is the laziest movie game I've played in a long time, and the fact that they had the nerve to make it the official PlayStation game based on the original 1989 movie is sacrilege. If you want a good representation of the Little Mermaid in a video game, play the original Kingdom Hearts. It blows this out of the water. The only saving grace is that this game is thankfully very short.
A Little Mermaid PlayStation game had the potential to be pretty good, but on all fronts, this game flounders.
You could say that again.
In an octopus's garden, in the shade.
Hey everyone! This has got to be one of the worst games I've ever covered. If you've seen my reviews before, you'll know I often try to say something positive about a game, no matter how terrible it is. But I thought this was irredeemably bad. You could argue that a lot of licensed games are lazy collectathons, but this game has you collecting stuff that you can't even identify. I still don't know what this thing was, and what was with the salad? You know what? I think I actually understand Dash's pained expression here. I'm pretty sure if I was stuck in this game myself, I'd be at my wit's end. Also, is it me, or are Tip and Dash really weird names for these guys? They look more like a Wally and a Pablo or something. Anyway, as usual, a big thank you to my patrons, Anthony Gallagher, Eagle, 3Spooky5Me, Volico72, and Matthew Shaw. Thank you to my free patrons, Heather McKnight, Hannah Kingdon, Michael Shields, Dennis, GamerKid96, and Mood Faik. And lastly, an ultra mega thank you to my channel members, 3Spooky5Me and Leo Tucker. I'm planning to make some more content available for you guys in the not too distant future. Otherwise, I'll see you again soon for a review of a preferably much better game. Until then, farewell.
Bye!
Bye!